Uh-oh, Prince Harry's royal enemy has taken over the Invictus Games?
Hey up everyone, it's me, Steph, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, looking after Popcorn Palace, whilst, yes, you may have noticed, Andy is on the road right now. Hey up Andy,
Well,
how are you doing?
full tran full transparency, I may not be looking at the camera because I'm on my way to get my kid. It's his birthday tomorrow, and I'm excited. Happy birthday early for Sawyer. Guys, I've just been slammed because we're working on a ton of stuff. And I just announced on Planet we're doing a whole Michael Jackson documentary. I hope you'll check out that video. We're so excited about it. Lots is coming, but I've been a little slammed, so I missed a couple videos, and I didn't want to miss another one today. So thank you, Steph, for patching me in and giving us the story so we can have our daily royalty. Because yes, you sent this to me and I was kind of confused, but now I get it. And it is pretty ridiculous, the fact that the Invictus Games, which is Harry's big showpiece to show himself off with Meghan and look what we do for the veterans, yada yada yada. Now that it seems the Invictus Games has gone around is behind his back to get another high official royal to now attempt to get involved, I guess, as a backup or a replacement. I mean, have I gotten this correctly, Steph? This is not good for Harry and Meghan, right?
No, it's not. So, just to give you guys a little bit of a rundown, the royal in question that apparently has been brought on to the Invictus Games organisation by the CEO himself is none other than Mike Tindall. Now, he's married to Zara Phillips, who is the daughter of Princess Anne. In other words, Zara Phillips is the niece to King Charles. So think of Mike Tindall as the nephew-in-law to King Charles in that respect. Now, we've got two royal commentators that are actually on record discussing this. The first one is Richard Fitzwilliam telling GB News that the games have become too royal because of Hazza and Megxi, saying that Mike Tindall has now been given a high position to do something about the Invictus Games. Then speculating, which I think it's fair to speculate like this, I think Harry is absolutely furious about this. It is being announced, but very quietly. Adding that some people say they want Harry because he's the beginning of the whole Invictus Games, and other people say that it would be delightful that they don't do all this nonsense, and they don't want Meghan making speeches, they don't want her leading marches. And that's referencing the Invictus Games from last year back in Germany, where she did this very, very weird thing with the veterans. She should have just let the veterans march on their own, but she was there marching with them in the front. And that drew a lot of well-deserved criticism. She can't march. She has no training whatsoever. What's she doing? Anywho, he then says she did lead people who were in the winning last year. And she walked as if she was at a dress show, and they were walking behind her looking very angry because she doesn't really know very much about the army and the military. But I did say plural royal commentators have been mentioning this because the other royal commentator is Angela Levin, and she is further saying that with the appointment, the alleged appointment, let's say, of Mike Tindall, this might actually be a way of the Invictus Games CEO trying to gently ease Hazza and Megxi out of the Invictus Games. Again, saying, Mike Tindall, who is married to the niece of King Charles, has been made patron of the Invictus Games. Speculating, I wonder if that's a way to ease Harry out. He's been very nice about Harry, but it's become too royal. And to give you a little bit more background on all of this, Andy, before I bring you in, this kind of makes sense, and I'll tell you why. Back in around about August last year, to the run-up to the Germany version of the Invictus Games, it was reported again by Angela Levin that the 2025 Canadian Vancouver Whistler Winter Invictus Games is actually in trouble. Why? Because the organisers, the government, officials, whatever, don't actually want it to go ahead anymore. They're sick and tired of Hazza and Megxi because Hazza and Megxi are taking the spotlight away from the veterans and keeping it all to themselves. Changing the Invictus Games into something that really it shouldn't be in the first place. It shouldn't be all about Hazza and Megxi. It should all be about the veterans. So Angela Levin turning around and saying, this might actually be a way to ease out Hazard and by extension Megxie actually makes sense. So now that I've given you a little bit of a rundown of the whole situation, what's your thoughts and reactions to this?
Yeah, I mean, it's twofold. Well, it's weird because if the critique is less royal, why bring another royal in? Is the only criticism I have of this report. But that said, maybe he is sort of trying to be a less involved royal, but still someone in the family who can bring that uh, uh, gravitas to the event. Because the reality is, Harry and Meghan could have still really owned this event and done a good job by just putting themselves more in the background. And it wouldn't even have been, I wouldn't have had a problem with them doing, an intro speech every year. And they're there as sort of founding members that want to support the veterans. Like, I do think we should be fair about it. Like, everybody should support wounded veterans, of course. But yes, as you pointed out, it's become their whole marketing plan. They do these events with Good Morning America and these marches and all these things to exploit the veterans to make themselves look better. And the reports I've gotten are that a lot of veterans don't even want to do it anymore. They actually don't like. It's not even about disliking Harry and Meghan. It's just like they don't like the games themselves. They got problems with it. It's badly organized. The heart isn't really in the veterans anymore. And they're having trouble getting veterans to apply. So now they're like, well, anybody who's trained can now come in. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's going awry in this thing, and Harry and Meghan are constantly out trying to make it look good. But as we reported with the sort of winter edition, it just looks so weird. Like, who's gonna go do that? Who's getting the training? Who's paying for it? Harry saying, "I only show up if I can do it too." It's all just very braggadocious, and again, not a good look. And yes, that does end up painting poorly on the games, the veterans, and the sort of the point of what it's all supposed to be. If it's really just a con to give Harry and Meghan free press and make them seem like a good veteran, well, yeah, I could see a lot of people starting to get pissed. So this story would make sense if the CEO and everybody are trying to make some moves to get the other royals still involved. Because let's be honest, getting the king and Prince William and all of them involved in this would make it 10 times bigger than what Harry and Meghan have been able to do with it. So if they're able to sort of do this workaround to slowly ease the other founding partner, which let's not forget, right, Steph, is William, that I think would help the games tremendously. And William's not going to go make it be all about himself. He'll show up, support, and leave. So I hope this is true, because I think for the sake of the Invictus Games, they do need to cut Harry and Meghan out of it, because they have not helped it at all.
And yeah, that all makes sense. But in answer to your slight criticism, which is, the moaning about it being too royal, but, allegedly the replacing Hazard and Megxie with another royal, Mike Tindall doesn't have a title. And even though he's part of the royal family, because he doesn't have a title, and by extension, Zara Phillips was never given a title as well. She could have been given the title of princess, but Princess Anne actually decided against that. So without the titles, they're seen as part of the royal family, but not as royal, if that makes sense. The other thing as well is it's actually really a stroke of genius if they are bringing in Mike Tindall and as a extension trying to ease out Prince Hazard as a result, because Mike Tindall actually is a former rugby union player. He does actually have a background in sport at the highest professional level. He was actually part of the England team that won the 2003 World Rugby Cup. So,
we could bring a lot of athletes into the games. Yeah,
correct, exactly. So in terms of his sporting caliber, he is up there. Like, for him to be part of a team that won a World Cup in England, we don't win many of those over this side of the world that much. But when we do, we treat the team as heroes. So it makes sense if they bring in Mike.
That's the kind of energy this games needs. They need the spark of celebrity and athletes who can come each year, a new batch of people to be involved with these veterans and make it an experience. Have a real athlete compete with some of the other people. Like, that's going to bring in ratings and excitement and experiences that'll really help these veterans, which is what it's supposed to be about. Not constantly, well, here's Harry and Meghan waving again, they're back, oh yay. It's just I don't get it. They need to phase it out. They can support it anonymously, but Harry and Meghan can't do anything anonymously, can they? Like, if they were donating and giving to these games in ways that we didn't know about, then I'd say they're doing a great job. But no, their way of showing up and doing good is showing up and waving and marching in parades, because that's somehow helping the veterans when it's only helping themselves. So it's all a joke, and I hope this is accurate, and good to hear that. Then that helps explain where I was wondering. But I hope at some point they wise up and start phasing them out, and I hope Harry and Meghan get enough backlash that they can't keep doing it. You know what I mean? Because what they're doing is so disrespectful in my mind to the veterans at this point by using them the way they're doing to make money, which is also what they're doing. It needs to stop.
Yeah, it definitely does. With that being said, guys, if you appreciated this video and you want more, and of course there's going to be more, do make sure you subscribe to Popcorn Palace, like, share, comment.
And the Steph the Altar Nerd, subscribe to her as well. Sorry to interrupt, but it's important.
Fair play. Subscribe to me as well whilst you're at it, guys. Comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatever's. And until the next time, laters. Bye.